I am Otis Roper.
I am Brandon Roper.
And together we are still
the Super Roper Brothers. Hi everybody. Today we are going to talk about a movie that we saw a little bit ago, but it's definitely one that we should review, as this is the, ninth entry in the series, and we've been watching these since we were little bitty children. I think this franchise might be older than you.
Ouch. We're talking about Creed 3.
Hey, my man, can I help you?
Let me get an autograph.
Nah, I ain't signing the autographs, but you get off my car.
You don't remember me, huh?
Damien.
As a long fan of the Rocky franchise, having seen its many iterations up and down, and as being a martial artist and martial arts instructor myself now, I can tell you personally that every movie in the Rocky franchise, while they are not all the same and they are not all great, they all tell a story about a portion of your life as a fighter, and this movie is no different.
Yeah, I thought this movie, it was very competent, it was very well done, it was a good shot, and I thought that the acting was great. But more to the overall, its position in the Rocky franchise, and this is the thing about the Rocky franchise, each one of these films, like you said, has a part about a fighter's life. But to me, this movie, it kind of shows you the evolution of this new introduction. I mean, Creed is basically new Rocky. So if Creed is new Rocky, we are right at where we were. It parallels almost perfectly where we were with Sylvester Stallone's character in the 1980s.
Why are you guys talking so much about Rocky? Why aren't you talking about Creed? Here's the thing. If you don't understand the Rocky franchise as a whole, I consider this to be the continuation of a story.
Yeah, this is just Rocky 9 as far as
then you don't know the background of the drama or of I've seen this before, this has happened to somebody else. And so, by the way, Michael B. Jordan, congratulations on your directorial debut for this film. You came out the gate swinging on this one, man. I appreciate what you did in this one. Yeah. Who's it starring?
Starring Michael B. Jordan, obviously, Jonathan Majors, Tessa Thompson, Florian Munteanu, who's one of the fighters. He's a lot of boxers in this movie. Mila Davis Kent is a little girl, the daughter who's hearing impaired. And then there's Felicia Rashad as the real villain. And Wood Harris. We'll get into why she's the real villain in a little bit later. But yeah, what she does...
Ain't nothing good gonna come to you.
Well, full of purple. Yeah, you're not wrong about that. There's a whole lot of stuff. Yeah, Wood Harris, who plays Duke. If you remember Duke, who was in the first, I want to say all six of the Rocky films.
Man.
First as Apollo's trainer, then as Rocky's trainer. And up until Rocky 5, even he was he's in all those movies. So, but his son in the movie is Duke. And then and Stitch, Cut Man, who's in everything. I forget his real name, but everybody calls him Stitch.
Stitch has
been a UFC fan. You know who he is.
Since the early days of boxing, I even think that Stitch has been there. So Stitch got fans as a cut man, and he looks like Edward James almost.
Can we talk about that for just a second? How Stitch looks like Edward James almost.
This is your commander. Yeah, he's on the mic. Moments ago, I dropping it down. The opponent was punched in the face with it's hot.
Yeah, it's crazy how much he looks like.
Sometimes you gotta roll the hard six.
Yeah, we're quoting Battlestar Galactica for those of you who don't remember Battlestar Galactica. But Edward James Olmos and Stitch look like they were hatched from the same shell.
Absolutely. Yeah. What do you think about the overall tone of the film regarding its own separate story?
Well, I thought that they did a good job of I know that people were kind of upset at this movie because it didn't have Rocky in it. It's the first film in the series that doesn't have Rocky in it. But One, and I'm just gonna spoiler alert, they don't kill off Rocky, and that's not really a spoiler. They don't kill him off. He didn't die off screen. From what we know, he's still visiting his grandson or whatever with Robert or Rocky Jr. So that's what's happening with his character, which I think is an acceptable transition for Rocky as is, and it leaves it open to make maybe he'll be in Creed 4, maybe he'll be in Rocky 7. Who knows? But Rocky 7 is officially titled still Adrian's Revenge.
Rocky 5 plus Rocky 2 equals Rocky 7, Adrian's Revenge!
But yeah, that's how that goes.
Adrian's Revenge.
Simpsons son.
She's coming back from Paulie.
Yeah, man, look.
She's coming back from Paulie.
You talking about Paulie is the villain in like the Rocky 3, 4, and 5.
Paulie is the villain that never has to pay.
He never pays for it.
The Cosmo Sose of the entire Rocky series.
What they did.
This is Paulie.
I said Rocky 7 should be Paulie is living it up in Buenos Aires with the money that he embezzled from Rocky.
Exactly.
You believe it? The bum boy. The bum boy. Rocky just got you try to knock him down. Show up. He just got to show up with the same hat and the stupid ball and like the fingerless gloves. Like, you know, like he's there to collect, like he's collecting money, only it's his money now.
He's got to put Paulie in a meat locker and just hang him up by his neck and just beat him.
Yeah, he's got to be frozen in there like Frankie Carbone from Goodfellas. All right, sorry, we just wrote our own Rocky film in the middle of this review for Creed 3. But I thought that Creed 3 does a good job with taking these established characters, and I thought that they did a good job of introducing new characters, because Jonathan Majors' character in this movie is like, I mean, everything about him is understandable when you watch it. I mean, because you get to see kind of his whole life unfold.
We all have family members who, not everybody chose the path of righteousness, let's just be honest, okay?
Yeah.
And not everybody even chose the path of doing wrong. We just got stuck in the wrong path, and you meet these people years later, and you go, man, you've lived a hard life, and it's taken a toll on you, and I can see it, and I love you, but man, you are rough.
Yeah.
You are rough and tumble.
Yeah.
And you meet up with this person all these years later, and you love them and feel responsible, but...
Yeah, we all choose our own paths. We all have different destinies and different things that we do. And here's the thing about it that I've learned over the years is, one, you never want to judge those people, because, let me tell you, given their circumstances, you don't know what they've been through. You don't know what that person's been through.
Message.
You don't know what's going on behind the scenes.
Message.
There's all sorts of stuff that could, but for the grace of God, there go I. Okay?
Now, I know y'all came here for a movie review, but marinate on that one for a second.
Just saying, that's how it goes. So, but in the movie, you can see Jonathan Majors' character when he was younger, and he's a young fighter, and he's got Michael B. Jordan there with him when he's young, and they're trying to figure. Oh, it's not Michael B. Jordan, but it's not de-age Michael B. Jordan. It's just a younger actor playing Michael B. Jordan's character, Adonis. So anyway, they are going to this underground fight. He's meeting all these people. They're like learning how to, he's learning about boxing, etc. And you get to see him kind of mentor to it. And then you fast forward to today. They don't really get into what happened until later on in the film. But I like that establishment because it shows you who they were beforehand.
I like that it shows the character of Michael B. Jordan as the underling. He isn't the protege. The character of Damien is actually the protege, the boxing protege. He's going to go someplace.
Yeah.
And the one particular instance, we don't know how they end up getting separated.
Yeah.
And then they meet up again. Now, I will say this. Jonathan Majors. Kang the Conqueror, and now you're Damien, and then you in Devotion.
Yeah. He's got range.
I didn't tell you. We was like brothers. I was the best though. But I never got a chance to prove that. That's cute.
What you doing, man? You trying to hurt me?
I know what you're doing, Donnie. You don't owe this dude nothing.
He's got it.
This dude is a tour de force when it comes to acting, because He does mannerisms of people that I used to work in corrections, and he does their mannerisms correctly. The stuff with the brush at the party, you know, seeing the girls and you sitting there, you know, you brushing on the like. I was like, yo, that's some real stuff there. Their fighting techniques look pretty good, but this is my main gripe as a martial artist, and those of us who are in the fight game know this. You can never fake footwork. You can never fake your footwork. And they hide other actors doing martial arts movies by hiding their footwork. The footwork here is pretty good, but there's no way you're taking some of them punches. If you got people that's that heavy, that big, clubbing on your chin.
But to be fair, that is a part of the Rocky mythology universe because Apollo beats Rocky's brains in for at least 30 rounds of boxing across 2
Get your cameras ready. He's going down.
And then he caught the punch. I mean, he took that punch. We've established that in the Rocky universe, I guess, punches just don't hit like they do in real life.
This is the thing about the Rocky whole thing, is as somebody who's trained people in boxing before, I'm telling you that watching a boxing movie does not mean you know how to box, it means you know how to fight. Some of y'all have gotten so many L's watching something like that. You think who's going to go to the industry?
Oh, man.
Please don't do that. Okay, watching Ninja Turtles. Watching Ninja Turtles does not mean you know what you're doing. Don't do it. Watching this movie don't mean you know how to box. Don't do it.
Get the boxing juju beats.
Yeah. So get some proper training is what I'm trying to say, and have fun with the movie. Sometimes as a martial artist, I can get stuck up in them. Well, actually, that technique. You know what? Have some fun with the movie.
It's the same thing as a history teacher. Like sometimes I watch a movie like that's not historically accurate. Well, that's not the point. Also, I mean, I get it. You know, like nobody's gonna watch a movie about Caesar chasing Pompey around for 5 months and building a wall and then like them running away and then going to get like that's what happened. But that's a really boring movie. Like,
what about the auxiliary characters? What do you think about Tessa Thompson?
I thought Tessa Thompson did a great job in this movie. She kind of channeled a little bit of like Adrian to me, like just a little bit. But
you can't go with what you are. Have you read the papers? Do you know what everybody says? It's suicide. You've seen him. You know how strong he is. You can't win.
But she wasn't like the.
You can't win, Adrian.
You can't win.
You can't win. You can't win.
Yeah, she was shaking.
Thanks, honey.
She was shaking that guy around, telling him how much, you know, like what do you want? What? I don't want to lose what I got. Man, like, remember having Adrian barely talked in the first movie?
Man, okay.
She literally didn't look at Rocky until like 45 minutes into the movie. Didn't make eye contact with him. Whenever he came in the pet shop, she did. Yeah, I did. Yeah,
You should tell kids that haven't seen Rocky that it's a movie about 2 people that have speech impediments.
Wow.
Overcoming their disability.
Rippling awkwardness.
Their awkwardness.
No, what you should tell about is a girl who won't talk with a guy who won't shut up. That's what you should tell. Because that's what it is. I just talk all the time. You know, yeah. Oh, buckets! Oh, I got a dog! Oh my God!
You take it to the zoo.
We get some turtle food. You know, Sylvester Stallone still owns those turtles. They're that old. I mean, because they're turtles.
Yes.
Yeah, he still has those same turtles from Rocky.
Turtle power?
Man.
See what they can see.
For real life. Because that's crazy.
All
right. So Jonathan Majors, great acting range. So we're gonna talk about the movies. The overall plot. I mean, this is kind of spoilers, but you can also
we have to do.
You can read between the lines. In the trailer.
We have to do spoilers on this one because I won't talk about this because that was wrong.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about some of the older lines. So this is your spoiler warning. Don't go further if you really don't want to spoil it for you. But it's fine. It's fine, honestly. Like I said, you can read between the lines and figure out most of the plot from the trailer, but the nitty-gritty is what we're about to get into. Okay, so in the movie, Jonathan Majors' character, basically Michael B. Jordan's character, finds a guy outside of a liquor store, just at random, that used to be one of the supervisors in the foster home he grew up in. and used to abuse him like physically as well as Jonathan Majors' character.
Yeah, used to beat on.
Get beat on like a bunch by this guy. And so now Michael Jordan's older, sees him, like all that stuff comes back. He starts beating on the guy because now he knows how to fight. Now he's older and can defend himself. And in the first of the movie, they cut away from this and you don't get to see what happened. Then later on, they fill in the blanks to find out what happened. That it was Damien who came and beat and like basically gets the guy off him and pulls a gun on him, and it's like because as the boys run up and start beating on Michael B. Jordan, like he gets jumped by like a bunch of the guys' other friends, and then Jonathan Majors comes up with a gun and saves the day. But then the cops show up and
instantly,
which is very convenient in Southern California for the cops to just instantly show up,
they show up instantly,
which would never, but it is what it is. So anyway, Jonathan Majors goes down for that. Michael B. Jordan later on, you find out, runs. He runs and he got away. And so now we fast forward to today, and Jonathan Majors' character gets out of prison, and he gets out of prison, and he sees that old boy is basically like, the guy that he grew up with, that he trained and stuff like that, has kind of got to live his life because he went down for him. And not only that, but he's not talked to him.
You think you mad? Try spending half your life in a cell. Watching somebody else live your life. I'm coming for everything. You threatening me?
Since then.
There's been no communication with them since that night.
Yes, and he hasn't seen him, he just knew he went down for it, and that's been it. So now we get to the real villain of the story, Felissa Rashad. Mrs. Apollo Creed.
Evil, diabolical.
What she did was wrong. So it turns out, if you want to go ahead and
listen. So Damien was writing him from prison and just looking for that ray of, connection with the outside world. Those letters mean a lot to the inmates. He's reaching out for that. She gets the letter, but because she doesn't want him thinking about his friend in prison, she doesn't deliver the letters, but she keeps them.
Man, yeah. So all this time that he's been in jail, just isolated, he felt like he was not. Adonis wasn't reaching out to him, or Donnie, as they call him, but Adonis wasn't reaching out to him. That he couldn't that he didn't care that he went down to jail for him. So he's just in there seething for like what? He got in jail for one sentence, but you know how that goes when you go to jail.
Yeah, you gotta fight people.
Beat somebody else. You get more charges. You get more charges. You get more charges. You get more time. And so he finally gets out of jail, and he's like 34, which is way past any fighter's prime. That's like you're geriatric if you're 30 something and you're trying to get out and fight. So he's going out, and there's a reason why he feels the way he feels. It becomes obvious in that movie, his character goes about things the wrong way, and he's way too aggressive, and he's sinister in a lot of ways. Like he's not just some guy that bad things have happened to. He's definitely got that edge to him now.
He is wronged by the people that were supposed to love him.
Yeah.
As long as he was doing for them, they loved him, teaching your little boy, your younger friend how to fight. Okay, it's cool, you got to hang around with. He got into trouble, and rather than even giving him the decision as a grown man, hey, by the way, your friend was writing you these years.
Yeah.
I didn't want you to be off this.
She could have told him this.
She could have told him anytime. That stuff right there is the kind of inaccountability, non-accountability. That is the most villainous. That is a villain thing. Now, here's the thing.
That's why she's the Yagi.
Her character.
Back to.
There may have been a time when Damien had your back.
No friends in the industry.
But that's not what he's doing now.
My brothers been my brothers, man. They know.
Does this, and then to escape the wrath,
any responsibility.
her character just dies.
Literally within 10 minutes.
She was like, "Yep, I did it."
Man,
She Ra's al Ghul,
Man.
or Natalia al Ghul.
Yeah.
My father's work is done.
That's terrible.
Maybe try one cooler and faster and louder and better.
Dipped on out.
Natalia al Ghul, she here. And I'm done.
Worst death ever. But no, yeah, so she's straight up Retsudo Yagu. Yeah.
Man.
That's who she is. She's a Shadow. Call me, yeah.
Come. 水に入っては水曜流の長所が発揮される備前のうつき者
It's totally shady what she does. So she is the reason why all of this is happening.
Long story short, when it comes to this and what I love about this film, even amidst her diabolical treachery, is that when the men of the story in this conflict, when they finally have their final bout, Michael B. Jordan, your directorial decision on that was amazing. The crowd goes away.
Yeah, it disappears.
That is one of the most honest things I've ever seen as a former fighter in that ring, is the crowd is gone. You can't hear you, I can't see you, I'm not looking at you.
And the metaphors.
And the metaphors of the scenery that they start fighting in. So you see, they're in the middle of a boxing match and then there's a jail cell.
Yeah, it's prison bars.
Prison bars, or there's the walls of the correctional facility, or there's the, the old mattress. And there's all these things. And I started seeing, in between rounds, they're sitting down and they're looking across and they're seeing themselves. Man, I got goosebumps now thinking about that one.
I like how they
seeing my younger self,
Yeah.
seeing the self that I don't want to see sitting across from me doing that. That was a brilliant thing, and that's why I say every Rocky film, and this one also in the Rocky universe, Creed 3, is still a story that tells a portion of where you were as a fighter, where you are as a fighter, or where you were.
Yeah,
and
it's the same kind.
This one hits me in the face just the same as all the rest of them. I have cried at every single Rocky movie now. Period.
I think Rocky series, I know it can come off as kind of a meathead sort of deal. Like you do, all right, Rocco. Yeah, this love. Yeah, go out there and beat people up and punch them in the face. I get it, but there's actually a lot more going on within these characters. And I think that, you scoff at it, there's a reason why this franchise is successful. I mean, it's crazy. When I was a kid, I'd be like, there are never going to be more Rocky movies than there are like Friday the 13th, and I think there are now. I mean, that's kind of crazy. I think this movie we talked about before, I think it's a mix between Rocky 3 and Rocky 5 kind of, except for it's a little bit flipped on its head. It kind of has that same sort of feel. And giving that guy who's your boy your shot.
Yes.
And giving him a shot because you kind of feel guilty.
Yes.
And that's the same dynamic.
Because I'm sure that's never happened to nobody else ever, right? Giving your boy a shot out there, or giving your person a shot out there, and it didn't quite work out right because the character of the person didn't. These movies are trying to teach something in every single one of them if you look for the lesson.
Yeah, and I mean, as much as it's it can be kind of like, oh, they're doing the same thing again. No, there's a lot more going on. It's a lot more sophisticated than I think people give you credit for.
But I think there's something primal about the boxer movie, the fighter movie, where you have the adversity of their lives. They handle it in the gym. The handling it in the gym or the ring manifests in their lives again until they end up finding, this is a tried and true formula. There's always gonna be, even if the Rocky universe ain't no more, one of you's just gonna end up writing something else.
Yeah, it's gonna be something like it. I mean, let me say, like boxing and the boxing ring and these movies being big metaphors for boxing. I mean, it's as fundamental as courtroom drama. It's as fundamental as, cops versus robbers. And God knows that, medical dramas. There's only 2 types of TV shows that get greenlit for 75 years at a time. I'm pretty sure Grey's Anatomy is still on, and that's insane.
Law and Order.
I mean, look, yeah, man. 25 years later. Yeah.
You know, every time you hear that sound, it's a check.
Wow,
It's a check.
man. Dick Wolf. Just Dick Wolf dunking on somebody with his paycheck.
But anyway, Creed 3. Now, what would you give the movie as far as like film score? The Rocky theme is iconic.
Yeah, but like
I can hear the Creed theme in it and go like, I know what that is, but it doesn't hit the same way for me.
Listen, and this is the thing about it though. Bill Conti, the original composer, they did use a part of his score in this, which I was very grateful for. Going the Distance does make it, and that's one of my favorite pieces of Rocky music. Is
Rocky's Reward.
Yeah, I mean that's Rocky's Reward is the slowed down orchestral version of Going the Distance. And so like I basically kind of linked them together in my brain, but only because I know one's coming after the other. But it is some fantastic music, and I love that. I do like how Creed has kind of found its own thing, and it uses a lot of hip hop, and the ring entrances are different, you know, because it's a different era. You know, it's great.
Hey, I don't know if you guys know this, but sometimes people have different culture.
What? What kind of, in America?
What? It's crazy. I know.
We're all mixed up.
So sometimes they have different cultures. So be unashamed in your culture as long as that culture isn't like, you know, in violation of somebody else doing something like, hey, you know, that's not the problem. The problem is when we can't express any of our culture, but everybody else gets to express that culture, and that. So I like that Creed is a movie that has black characters in it that deal with some subject like. Have you ever noticed this in Star Trek? Where's the black culture in Star Trek?
It's William Riker. William T. Riker.
William Riker
is the blackest man.
Is the only one.
He's the blackest man.
That's it.
We've already covered this. Like we like
once again.
Hold on, roll the B roll.
Jordan LaForge in TNG was a black man, but that's it. That's the only thing He has no flavor. There's no minorities never carry flavor in the future.
Yeah, I mean, so we all know Riker is the blackest man in the future.
The blackest. The blackest man.
Oh, I gotta swing my leg over this chair.
Every
time.
Again, every time. But okay, so what would you give this movie on a scale of 1 to 5?
Rocky statues?
Square distance.
Oh God. I'm gonna go with the Rocky statues. The people in Philadelphia are still crazy about that thing.
You know what?
A fake statue or a statue about a fake boxer. But that's the power of movies.
That's the power of
that's
that.
A fake boxer that has a statue on the grounds of a museum in America. I thought it's worth watching. As a film in general, just a movie. You know, if you're not into Rocky, you're just not into boxing, I maybe do like 3.5.
Yeah, 3.5 stars. But
as a Rocky film,
there we go.
I give it a 4. I give it a
solid
solid 4.
Exactly.
It's worth it. There are worse Rocky films than this to watch. I will say this.
Rocky 5.
Rocky 5.
I like Rocky 5.
I like Rocky 5 too, but I just like it because of the black guy.
Give it up! No, I don't like the black guy. You don't think you're finished. I love that guy. That guy,
the Don King character. Hey, old line against you. You got to insult. You got to talk. You got to talk. That guy was working for his check.
Oh God! You know, we need to do a separate segment over our favorite one-liners from Rocky villains.
Oh man!
Or just our favorite characters from Rocky villains, because that's
the villains in Rocky are so iconic. I mean, Apollo Creed was the only Rocky, air quotes, villain who was like a decent human being, other than just fighting against Rocky. But everybody else has been a monster. Like a literal you got Clubber Lang, who's just a force of nature. He was just Thunderlips, even though he doesn't get as much
flesh Very big.
Man, can we talk about how Rocky established Hulk Hogan?
No, I'm not yet. Not for the meatball. I'm not done with him yet, boy. I can't break your spirit. I sure enough can break your back.
Is Daddy having fun?
Ah, yes. I was wondering what would break first. Your spirit? Oh, your buddy.
Oh man,
Like, look, all you fans of the WWE world and all that stuff, without Hulk Hogan being in Rocky, I don't know if wrestling would have exploded like it did.
lights out, meatball.
I can't break your spirit, but I sure can't break your back. Just knee drop.
Hulk Hogan was talking so much trash.
I mean, in full sentences in the middle of, he's dropping him on the ground and talking trash. Fantastic.
I need you to let go of your fear. Let go of the guilt. Let go of whatever was and walk into what is.
I feel those chains are breaking, yeah. I fear God, I don't fear death. I see those stripes and take a step.
I think that this movie, it's a welcomed addition to the pantheon of Rocky. And honestly, all the Creed films so far have been pretty good. None of them have been just turd.
I will give this movie the same respect and rating that I gave the other ones. I like the Rocky series probably more, but I'm an older person, so I'm looking back at that. But this isn't bad, and this is good writing and character development, and this is what we say we want.
Yeah.
As movie critics, as film critics, this is what we say we want.
Yeah.
So when you give it to us, I gotta go high.
Yeah. I just look, you can't say everything's the same, and then they try something different, and you get mad. So yeah. Anyway, I am Brandon Roper.
And I am Otis Roper.
And we are still
The Super Roper Brothers.
Thanks for watching.
Like, share, and subscribe.
You know, like you should. In the film, basically, well, this is gonna be a fantastic blooper scene, y'all. Niggas out here dropping stuff on the ground and whatnot. Ridiculous. All right. We gotta come back together. Let's go to work.
Yeah, I just can't cry.
Just can't cry. That's what's up.